It has been a minute, but we are back with my team on F1 24. Now this is going to be Season 2, the 2025 season. Also going to be the final career mode on this F1 24 game. After this, we'll jump into the new game, of course. And generally, I've had a bit of a break from my team, but we're back. Season 1 finale, guys, on screen now. Abu Dhabi. Spoiler incoming in 3, 2, 1. We picked up the World Drivers' Championship. So, one of our goals has been achieved. One still remains. Now, in that last season, we had a teammate, Jamie Chadwick. We gave her a chance, didn't score any points all season, so we're going to try and make amends this one. Now, the results from last season are on screen now. We pretty much got the fastest lap in every race in the second half of the season, bar Singapore. We won 8 rounds or 8 races. We had that, of course, 4 consecutive DNF streak between Japan and Imola. And even the finale wasn't that great for us. We weren't that quick, but we managed to beat Verstappen, who I believe had a grid drop, and that helped us out massively. So yeah, generally speaking, a great year. Wasn't planning to go for the title, but we had a great run of races between, I'd say, really Spa all the way up to Vegas, and it got us right back in the mix. And we actually ended up walking away with the world title. So with that done, we're now going to turn our focus to the new season, beginning with activities. Now we're going to basically make sure we spread these out fairly equally and get, you know, a bit of an improvement in decent departments where we need to try and, you know, do better. Of course, we have the regulation change, which is going to be on the engine and the durability. So that does mean we can upgrade on the aero and the chassis. Now we had a failed aero update pending, so we've taken care of that. We've also now done the chassis update, and we now get to the awkward conversation. Jamie Chadwick, we are going to have to let her go. Like I said, gave her a chance, 24 rounds, didn't score a single point, and we didn't even challenge in the Constructors. Now, I saw Daniel Ricciardo, and it got me thinking, you know, in real life, he got dropped mid-season 2024, and isn't going to be on this real grid, so technically speaking, he's somewhat of a free agent, and I want to give him a chance. I want to give him an opportunity to redeem himself in Formula 1. And I think he may not be the guy he once was, but I think he'll score decent points, and that could be a valuable asset in terms of the Constructors' Championship. So, we got into a negotiation with VCarb, and my days, they were actually extremely competitive and extremely stubborn. They clearly value him way more in this career mode than they do in real life, because we kept on offering money and they kept on one-upping us the entire time. So we just weren't able to get this over the line, and time was running out. So I was getting concerned because, you know, we might actually end up losing this negotiation, and I might have to look at some other options. Now, plan B, backup plan, I'm not sure exactly who to go for. I know we're not going to go for an F2 driver, but luckily we do get the contract signed, and Daniel joins the team. So he's going to be suiting up in electric sky blue in 2025, partnered up with Maserati, and hopefully things are exciting, things are fun, and we're going to have a good season. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about Daniel himself, his driver stats. You can see 82 rated, not anything amazing, but hopefully once he joins the team, you can see there he goes to 85 because of the facilities that we have, and we're going to also work on improving those over the off season. Now, we had to renew our sponsorship with Opaque, one of our sponsors, of course, secondary ones at that, which I'm happy to go for because I don't want to change the livery too much. I love how the car looks. There's going to be minor adjustments to the car this season. The big changes are elsewhere for other cars and other teams. Now, the first thing is we are waving goodbye to Pirelli heading into 2025.
You're not currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later, you'll probably be asked by the media who you consider to be your rival. Think carefully who you select, as while you'll receive a claim for beating them, you'll lose a claim if you fail to do so.
Now then, with that out of the way, let's talk about a few updates. Now, because we've signed Daniel Ricciardo, there is a vacancy at VCarb, and Kevin Magnussen has retired. So there's, technically speaking, officially 2 vacancies now in Formula 1 in VCAR and one in DHL Haas. So we're going to see how that affects the driver market in the off season. Now, in the meantime, I said before, we're going to try and improve Daniel's, rating in the team. So we're going to go ahead and improve our simulator and get that up to spec. And hopefully, with our cash payout at the end of the season, post-season, we should be able to hopefully get more of that upgraded as well to really improve Daniel's driver stats. Now, with that out of the way, here is the post-season fallout. Generally speaking, of course, it was an incredible season. We outperformed expectations. We go up by 2 levels, Daniel goes up by 1, and we go up by 1 as a team. So good progress all round and steps in the right direction. We also, of course, hit our sponsor targets. Along with the prize money, we pick up a decent bit of cash and we bring our total to $20 million, which we are going to invest very wisely into, trying to hopefully improve especially the personnel department. Either way, it was a genuinely decent season. 8 wins, 7 poles, nearly 400 points. I mean, I think I got 4th in the constructors on my own for the team, or 5th, I think it was actually, just behind Mercedes. So, we genuinely put a shift in. Either way, here is the calendar for the new season. Now, we're going to basically make it 24 rounds. Portugal will not be in it. So, yeah, we're going to keep it traditional, simple, and yeah, for you to enjoy each and every single one of those before we jump into F1 25. Now, while the calendar hasn't changed much, what has changed is our car livery. Not a ton. It's essentially an evolution, a much improved evolution. We're also going to be suiting up with the number 1, and also I'm going to reveal the tyre supply. Now, I mentioned before Pirelli are not here, and that's because they've been replaced by Bridgestone. They're back in Formula 1, and we have them on our car. Now, let's talk about the livery in detail. A few subtle adjustments, but they all add up to make quite a reasonable change. The first one is going to be both the front and the rear wing on the inside have now a red edge running all the way along to kind of bring a bit more red into the color palette. Also, the side pod, as you see right there, where the Adidas logo is, was in black last season, but I've basically extended the length of the, the blue on the side pod. Speaking of which, on the side pods, we now have all that carbon running up and along on the kind of top half of the side pod, all connected now as one. You can see here on the front end, we've also made the nose tip black carbon, shortening the electric blue so the Maserati logo sits on the black background, and you can really see that red edge on the end plates. Running along the side of the car now, you can see the new side pod there, a lot longer, deeper, running under the side pod. And then we've got that black disconnect with the carbon. And then elsewhere, other small details on the car, especially on the front end, you can see it on the upper part of the nose. We've actually extended the navy blue running from the kind of halo all the way down to the number 1. You can really see it on this front shot to kind of, again, add a bit of a different look to the front end of the car and make it all kind of come together in one. And with the Bridgestone tyres, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. The car is essentially a lot more consistent and, parallel with the angles, design, paintwork. Now, let's talk about other teams and driver lineups. Now, Oracle Red Bull Racing are going to be running that livery that they were meant to run in the real life 2024 Circuit of the Americas race, which they never actually raced due to weight saving, reasons. Now, Max Checo back again for more, and they're going to have that new livery to go with it. And will Max bounce back after losing the title last year? We're going to find out. We then go to Mercedes, and it's now Vestas, Mercedes, AMG, EQ. George and Lewis still back as the lineup, but you can see the car looks insane. Very, very nice looking livery with the kind of electric blue running through it. They're keeping the silver, as they are. The silver arrows, of course, makes perfect sense, but Vestas now taking up a bit more prominence on their car, and Ineos taking a bit of a back step as a sponsor. Elsewhere, we go to Ferrari, and this one is one of my favorites. They take inspiration from the WEC, or the World Endurance Championship, liveries, kind of going for more red, and then that yellow being a real noticeable secondary colour. It is still Scuderia Ferrari HP, but the HP is a lot more palatable in my opinion, and this with the Bridgestone tyres looks absolutely beautiful. Now then, line up the same. We go to McLaren, which also retained the same lineup with Lando and Piastri. The livery also basically the same, but MasterCard now far more present, and the colouring, the tone of the orange is now far more accurate, and it will look a lot better on track rather than being, kind of yellowish and washed out. With that out of the way, we then go to the next one, and this one is a big overhaul. Aston Martin. I've got creative. This is my own work. I wanted to really make more yellow, more present on the livery, and I've also changed those horrible wheel caps, which I don't like, and I think this looks a lot better. We've also put the Aston Martin wording in yellow, the numbers also in yellow, and generally this works, I think, a lot better as a whole. Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll running it back again with their lineup. We then move to Renault Alpine F1 team. They've basically merged, much like in 2026 when Andretti merged with General Motors. Same situation here with the two French companies, and the yellow is back in Formula One, and you can see we have an interesting look on the race suits as well. I think it all pairs really, really nicely together. Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon keeping their French driver core and just making it a fully French operation. Then we go to Williams, a bit of an overhaul on the livery. Duracell now on the side pod as well as the roll hoop, bringing that kind of Williams livery on the engine cover in white, also bringing the white to the rear wing on both the RS flap and the M plate. AMG taking up more presence as well. Albon Sargent still running it back, driving this car, and generally a bit of an update to their livery. Then we head to Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, or as we know, VCARB, and here is the first of the changes. Nico Hülkenberg has departed DHL Haas, and he wasn't even retiring, so Haas have gone for a double lineup change. Hülkenberg signed up by VCARB alongside Tsunoda, running it back with the same livery from last season. Now that does mean some changes for Haas, but we'll get to that in a bit. Audi run it back with Bottas and Zhou. Zhou especially had that, one insane performance at Monza last season where he really was on the pace. The Audi was rapid, and they'll be hoping for a step up and a better performance this season, because generally they were pretty underwhelming last season. And then we head to, of course, DHL Haas. A new lineup in its entirety. Terrapul chair, Dennis Hauger, I'm going to say. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. The livery, still the same. Of course, they have now red numbers. I made a little tweak. I'm going to have to update Magnussen's now retired number to these two. But either way, the car looks incredible. I love the yellow. And of course, we've got lots of colour on the grid now with, of course, Haas, Renault, just really adding that pop of colour. Aston as well. Our own livery, Ferrari with more red on it. Mercedes looking nice with the silver. There's a lot going on. Red Bull, more blue as well. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, update-wise, we didn't lose any of our updates in the reg change for the engine or the durability, and we also received some in the off-season. So things are looking good. We're going to take care of some more upgrades, and we're going to focus especially on durability. We're going to go for the ICE, because this is one of those where it gets worn very quickly and you can suffer some issues in terms of engine allocation later on in the season. Activity-wise, we're going to basically just fill out, the agenda. We're going to make sure we get a bit of cash flow coming in at no cost to kind of hindering other departments. And we're also going to do a driver training camp to get Daniel nice and sharp and pair that up with, the personnel department updates. Hopefully, things should look pretty good for Ricciardo heading into round 1 in Bahrain. You can see now with the money and the cash flow from the season payouts, we're going to get the fitness center, the analysis suite, and the pit equipment to improve pit stops. And that should hopefully give us a nice little boost paired up with level 2 driver sim. So with that out of the way, we're going to go elsewhere. We're going to purchase a quality control update for the engine upgrades. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because we have quality control level 2 on aero, chassis, durability, but not on powertrain. So we're going to get that up to spec and up to date. So with that done, that's pretty much all the updates, guys, out the way. As we now fast track on the timeline, the new car livery looking beautiful in the background, and I honestly really love the small adjustments. But yeah, everything came through, everything is ready to go.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
So just to quickly recap before we close out the video, Daniel is now an 87 rated driver. So we've done a good job here of improving him as much as possible. He only has level 1 on social media team in terms of his driver perks, but other than that, genuinely looking forward to this. Good signing. Hope it works out, hope we're quick, and hope everything goes according to plan. So guys, I'll see you guys in round 1 in Bahrain. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see what happens in the next 24 rounds, and we'll see if we achieve our goal of winning the Constructors' Championship. Anyway guys, cheers for watching, much appreciated. As always, a big shout out to my members. Check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them, and I'll see you guys in my next one very soon. Until then, take care, and that's goodbye from me. Ciao.